Well, did you pay enough attention to it?
No.
Yeah, it was giving me shit a little bit ago. You just gotta give it a minute.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Oh, I was going to tell you all something. And I wanted to wait until we started streaming so I could tell the streamers too. And in the 30 seconds it took for me to do that, I have already forgotten what I was going to tell you.
Well done.
I don't suppose anyone can tell me what I haven't told you yet.
I have no idea.
We all level up in 14th.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Nope. Oh, I remember what it was. Hang on. Let me finish this tweet so I can forget it again.
Oh my god.
Oh, I gotta reload Fantasy Grounds.
You know how tempted I was just to turn this session into Castle Panic?
Yeah.
Because it would be very fitting thematically.
Yep.
No one can deny that.
I don't think anyone's trying to.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Castle Panic is like a board game where you all sit in a castle and try and kill things before they get to you. So
pretty much exactly what we're going to
basically be doing. This session. More or less.
Alright, well, you guys have fun. I'm restarting my computer.
Oh boy.
Alrighty then.
Yeah?
I'll see you in a second.
Well, I'm using my phone for Discord, so.
Okay, while she's gone, everyone...
Rude!
No, so the thing I was going to say is that I have been working with Joe on... as some of you may know, I have serious issues with the lore wizard subclass. In fact, I believe even Wizards of the Coast has issues with it. However, certain aspects of it fit Freya really well, and I'm sure a lot of you would agree the idea that Freya is just someone who studies magic extensively. So we've reworked the lore wizard to make it much more balanced and fair, and he is now a lore wizard.
Oh snap!
Yeah. Joe, you wanna just while she's resetting, you wanna read out your general abilities as a subclass lore wizard now?
I can if you want me to.
Yeah, because I don't remember.
Okay, so at level 2, the primary feature related to it that I get is something that I titled Universal Lore. My spellcasting book can be used as a book of lore that aids all intelligence checks. Reading in your book of lore for 1 minute grants advantage on a performed intelligence check and may grant additional information and descriptions at the DM's discretion. So the point of the feature is to be informational. Information can be powerful, but when you look at a different subclass where it might have, Evocation Wizard has Sculpt Spells or something like that, this is not very combative. It would be more intrigue related, which can be very useful depending on the campaign.
Like you guys would have to cover her for 10 rounds in the middle of a fight for her to pull one of those checks off.
Yeah, maybe not.
I start just reading the whole battle, just have I seen this enemy before?
Let me pull out my book and check
down
it.
Behind one of the barracks, just okay, guys, just give me 10 minutes. I got this.
Yeah, cool as you please. Just licks her finger and starts paging through.
I could totally see her doing that if it was a really easy fight. She just stops paying attention.
But that's not all you get at level 2, right?
At level 2, I also get Mystical Lore. Mystical Lore is basically the ability to change the damage types of spells you cast to any elemental type. So the traditional Lore Wizard that was made, the Unearthed Arcana version, had a similar feature where you could change the damage type of any spell you cast to all of the elemental damage types alongside Radiant and Force. The issue with this is that Radiant and Force those damage types are resisted by almost nothing.
Yeah,
you
there's
could make
just no
any
reason
spell
to
that
choose
damage
anything
type,
else.
Yeah, you don't use other types. The elemental types, however, Fire, Cold, Lightning, and Acid, those four, almost everything has... all those damage types have a decent amount of enemies resistant to them. So there's some flavor to changing your damage types. For instance, I could start casting Firebolt, which I've actually properly renamed instead of Firebolt to actually with this character called Flame Sword. But
Actually, you can't. It has to be a spell slot level 1 or higher.
Spell level 1 or higher. You're correct.
Yes. So cantrips do not count.
Does not work on cantrips, but I could cast something like Scorching Rays and create it as Cold Rays or something like that, which I'd have to describe. But point is, it fits the flavor of the class with later features you'll learn, which I'll jump into. The level 6 feature, I believe for the normal Unearthed Arcana lore wizard, is something similar to meta magic for a sorcerer. Kind of odd, because why am I becoming a sorcerer as a wizard? I scrapped that completely. As a lore wizard, the level 6 feature I gave Freya is that she gains expertise in 2 intelligence checks, first off. The lore wizard defaultly gains expertise in all intelligence checks, so this is 2 instead of 5. And what I can do with those intelligence checks, as well as other ones that I'm proficient in, is in combat I can, as a bonus action, perform a check to learn something about a creature. It's like a know your enemy feature. I could, if I roll well enough, I could discern a creature's vulnerabilities, resistances, or immunities to specific damage types. I could learn their condition immunities, their AC, or different things like their highest or lowest saving throws. And this would only apply to common creatures, at least things that would be written down on, like in tomes of lore, which makes sense for someone who's very, very well read. That's the flavor for this, and it works well with mystical lore, which lets me change damage types to a small degree.
Right, you see if you can find something that's vulnerable, and then just change your damage type to match that. And then the other levels we'll worry about if Freya ever gets there.
Yeah, if ever, but that's like level 10 plus. Yeah.
So, with that out of the way, are you back, Allison?
Yeah, I've got Fantasy Grounds up. I'm just letting it buffer for a sec.
So, welcome back, my esteemed players. How are you?
You know.
Good. That's good. It's very descriptive.
I had a busy weekend.
I wouldn't know. So Sib actually came with her lovely wife to visit us down here in good old Texas. So me, Joe, and Sib hung out and had a grand old time. But now you're back.
It's really hot here.
Yeah, I know, right? The second you left, it got really hot.
You're welcome. I brought the cool weather with me.
But let's jump into it because we got a session in store. Last session, you guys got back to the castle, learning that the goblins were, well, really the bugbears with some goblins, had intentions of besieging Ria's home, and in honorable combat slaughtering everyone inside. That is their goal. In addition to that, your older sister Claire has been stricken with a curse, and while she faced death in one-on-one combat and beat him, the curse has now made her bedridden, and Amelia did a lot of digging and researching, trying to find what type of curse it was, and was able to find that it appears to be a very shamanistic style curse that makes the body slowly waste away over several months, and the only real ways to cure it is to find a high-level spell caster that can cast something like Remove Curse, which no one at this castle can do, or to kill the person who casts the curse upon her. You found that out right before you found out that Julistina is requesting to speak with you. As well, the castle is aware that that in 3 days' time there's about to be a horde of goblins at their doors, and everyone who is a non-combatant, a non-paladin or fighter, is preparing to leave as quickly as possible, because I don't think anyone trusts that the goblins are going to just wait 3 days exactly, like they're sitting there with their stopwatches. So the sooner people get out, the better. Everyone else is starting to prepare their defenses. And Rhea, you would know this. This castle has not been besieged in almost 200 years. Now, you've had the castle for 500 years, and way back when, it used to withstand quite a few sieges when this area was much more lawless. Not from the Shuanti, as the Shuanti really would have no cause to attack you. Much more from large way back before Corvosa was a big city. There were very large roving bandit armies, you could even say. People that would, I guess you would say warlords, small warlord bands that would try and plunder the castle for its riches. And while it has never fallen, there's always a first time. So, with that being said, I'm going to start this session off of basically where the last one left off. I know that, Amelia, you have a conversation to have, but before we get into that, is there anything immediately any of the other characters would want to do?
I'm good.
Sib? Wings? You guys, you're muted.
Sorry, good to go. Yeah.
Perfect.
I was gonna say, other than spending the room in the night with Claire and making sure she's okay, and then perhaps working on Kitty to repair some of the damage.
Sure. How does repairing Kitty work when you have time?
Good thing I have it up. I can just look. If I can scroll to the right page.
Now that you've watched inspirational material over the weekend.
Over the course of a long rest, you can repair a slain servant if you have access, which is. Let me see.
You would have the materials you need at the castle. While the paladins don't necessarily have cogs and gears and gizmos, they do have enough raw material for you to be able to repair her. How does it say, like, up to full over a long rest?
I am not entirely sure, and I'm not sure it says in here. I will make sure I get that to you.
I will say for now then, for now, yes, fully repaired. And what we'll say is that the goblin weapons didn't destroy much of her, more that they knocked a whole bunch of things out of place. So you're going to spend the evening taking out gears and filing them down a bit and bending a couple of things back into place and then hammering them back in. And man, you could really use a better, either a better work environment or better tinkering tools to get her right back up to full, like tip-top shape. But she is full health, full functionality.
Okay.
You're jerry-rigging a few things, but that's fine. You got it. She's a tough old girl.
Probably one eye is still glitching.
Yeah, tough old girl of like a week. Got you. Claire does not seem to improve or get worse very much over the course of the night. And as Amelia did say, this curse takes months to cause the body to waste away. So over the course of one evening, she does not appear to better or worsen. She spends much of it sleeping, though. All right. Amelia, when we last left the session, you and Van Kasterkin were making your way down to the dungeon.
Yep.
Okay.
As she's moving along, Amelia's just like muttering to herself, kind of like after a bit, like takes off her vest and tries to like dab the front of her with the back of her vest, trying to just like get some semblance of clean. She's just like, this is fine. It's fine. It's fine. Just muttering to herself the entire time. After a bit, she kind of pauses, probably at like the stairs or the door to the I keep wanting to call it an asylum. But like the place where Julistina is, and just goes, "Oh gods. Oh gods, this is a terrible idea. I'm so sorry. You shouldn't be here for this. You don't even there's no context. You don't know you don't even know who Rolf is. You just I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. I'm sorry."
Van Casterkin, who's leaning on his spear as you're talking, just looks at you and appears to consider your words, and then says, "Do you want to be alone when you talk to her?"
She's quiet for a moment, and there's just this look of apprehension, and she just closes her eyes and shakes her head and goes, "I don't want to have this conversation. I've never not wanted a conversation more in my entire life, and believe me, that's saying something." But oh gods.
But sometimes we have to do what we must.
Yes.
Amelia, I don't care about context. I don't care about what she is or isn't. I care about one simple question. Do you want to speak to her alone?
She puts a hand over her mouth, and her eyes are still closed, and after a moment she shakes her head.
And that's all I need. Shall we?
She starts to nod and then like opens her eyes and looks at him and goes, what you hear in there,
Amelia,
what?
when you met me, I was leading a group of thugs that were turning people into unwittable cannibals because a noblewoman had twisted me around her finger. What possible thing could I hear that would be worse than that? You have already seen me at my worst. I doubt very seriously it could be topped.
To be fair, you were unaware of what you were doing.
He shakes his head. Not an excuse. I should have known. I should have. Well, what I should and shouldn't have done is long past. We can only move forward.
She nods after a moment and takes a breath and starts to turn and then looks back at him and goes, "Thank you."
He nods.
And she heads down to the cells.
He'll follow quietly behind you. You walk past the cells. It's fairly quiet down here. And you get to the last cell. And as you get to the last cell, you hear like a scratching sound against stone, faintly. There's a paladin guard standing there, and he'll look at you and he'll nod, and he'll put keys in the door, open it, and say, "I'll be right here if you need anything."
She'll nod and I guess go in. Like, how big is this room?
It's actually pretty decently big. There are two sections to the room. There is a small section that you step into that has a few seats. They look fairly comfortable and they look well set in. They have like padded cushions. And about 10 feet past that, there is a set of iron bars. So it's like the room is divided into two by iron bars. And beyond that is a simple bed, a simple pail, and a small window that lets in sunlight from the outside that is starting to fade in the sunset. You see in the corner of that cell an absolute wreck. Torn clothes, wild hair, no shoes on the feet, and bits of clothing thrown around the cell. Gelestina is sitting in the corner, and she is idly tracing patterns in the stone wall with her finger. As the door opens and you guys enter, she doesn't stop what she's doing. She doesn't even seem to look up and recognize you.
Amelia, after a moment, takes a breath and goes in and sits on the seat that is closest to the door.
Van Casterkin will take a seat a little bit away. And time passes.
After probably like a minute of just like mental preparation, finally Amelia goes, "You asked to see me?"
At the sound of your voice, her head shoots up. Amelia! And her eyes brighten, and she stands up. Oh, you came. And then her face darkens as she sees Van Casterkin there. Who's he?
Don't worry about him. You wanted to speak with me.
Oh, Amelia. I would never hurt you. You don't need protection. Not from me. She starts to walk towards the bars.
A very long history tends to lean away from that argument.
She stops. No, that wasn't to hurt you, that was to make you strong. You have to be strong. You have to be strong when you work for Roth. He does not appreciate weakness. No. I was weak once. I was weak. I thought I was strong. I thought I was the best. Sent out to ply my trade, and then I met him. No, I did what I did to you. Don't you see? I did it to make you strong.
Amelia closes her eyes and just takes a moment to breathe again before finally just saying, "Just what did you want to talk about?"
She watches you for a while. I know your friend. Saw her when she was young, when I was training for a past life. Did you know that?
Which friend?
The pretty one, black locks.
Yes, we're aware of her past.
Are you? Interesting. Then you know, and she starts kind of like tracing her steps on the stone, almost whimsically walking. You know how dangerous she is.
Yes, we're aware. Is that all you wanted to talk about?
She looks up at you and her voice hardens. No. No, Amelia. I just thought we could talk. We never talk anymore. No one ever does.
Perhaps there's a reason for that.
She hesitates. Yes. Yes, that's what the man said. That horrid, horrid man that asks questions that penetrate me. His eyes. You seen him, that man?
Julian?
Yes, Julian.
You should consider him far more kindly. He is the only reason I am here.
She nods slowly at that. I do not like his words. I do not like his questions. I do not like that they make sense.
And what does he ask?
Ask? Asks who I am, why I am, how I feel. Am I okay? Have I eaten? Do I hurt? Oh, Jolistina, you look injured. Would you like that treated? Oh, Jolistina, would you like me to stay with you the night? Oh, Jolistina, have you heard stories? He asks the nicest things. I do not like it.
So, what, do you want me to make him stop coming to you?
No. 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 No, 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 no. And she crouches down. Don't make him stop. No. And she looks up. Amelia, did I hurt you?
Yes. Many times.
There's a very slow change to her face. It very slowly morphs from curious to shock to a look of sadness. I'm sorry. And then she just retreats to the back of the cell and sits back down in the corner and starts tracing her finger along the wall.
Oh, Jesus. Amelia watches her, and her hands are just clutched, white knuckled in her lap. And after a moment, she stands up and walks over to the bars and puts a hand on one of them and goes, "If you want to talk, then talk to me."
She looks up. I heard there are enemies coming. The guards are talking about it, wondering if they should move us. Have you heard?
I was a part of the group that discovered them.
When they come, give me a dagger, Amelia. I must watch over you.
She just laughs for a moment, and it's just this bitter sound, and she goes, I don't know that I can trust you. I've never known that I could trust you. Why would I trust you?
Because I hurt you, but I never abandoned you. Even your sister couldn't say that.
You do not. She didn't abandon me.
Oh? Do you think she treated you better than I did?
Yes. For one thing, she didn't stab me.
Her face looks like she's about to react and then says, I thought it was to help.
Why would slicing someone open repeatedly for no damned reason help anyone?
Pain, Amelia. Pain is the curse of life. To learn that is to be prepared. To understand true agony is to ensure no one can inflict it upon you. I knew that before I even met Rolth. The world you were in would chew you up and spit you out. I wanted to stop that.
Amelia's hand is just shaking, gripping the bar. She closes her eyes and goes, so you just took it upon yourself, this noble act, tearing me apart just to help me build back up.
Your family. That's what family does. Ask your friend. She'll tell you I'm right.
From what I have seen, she's learned far more about family being with us than she has with her birth family. So I would argue against that, but I'll keep that in mind.
She shrugs. Maybe. I never knew. Never had the chance she did. When they come, give me a dagger, Amelia. I will keep you safe.
The only person I ever saw you loyal to was Rolf, and he's dead. Why should I believe anything you say? Why should I believe anything but the idea that you will take that dagger and shove it through my heart, or Ross's, or any of my friends?
Because, as she looks at you with wild eyes, you killed him. He was my everything. He meant everything. And killing him was the best thing you ever did for me. Because I'm family, right? And she smiles at you, and it's an actual genuine smile.
Jesus fucking Christ. Amelia's just like, Just this sheer look of shock. And she's gonna need to do an insight check on this because she's not convinced at all.
Sure.
Oh my god. 24.
Wow. It's very clear that this is a very damaged mind, but the emotion, the body language, she is being very truthful. Whatever twisted senses she has, she believes what she's saying.
Oh my god. Yeah. As she's staring at her, just mouth gaping, tears just start welling up, and she just starts crying. Like, expression doesn't change. It's not sobbing, it's just silent tears streaming down her face. And she puts a hand over her mouth and just looks away from her.
She sits back down and starts tracing the wall again. That's what family does. And just kind of mumbles that to herself over and over.
Shaking, still gripping the bar, Amelia kind of like glances over in the direction of Van Castrian and goes, I think we're done here. And turns to leave.
He nods, stands up without a word. You see him take a second to look back at Jolistina, and then follows you out and closes the door.
Yeah, Amelia just kind of speed walks past the guard to the door, and she's just walking as fast as she can without bursting into a full run, and just crying and shaking the whole time.
You hear heavy booted footsteps? The heavy booted footsteps of Van Castican behind you, but he doesn't say a word, just keeps pace with you. And when you're about to exit, you would hear him softly call, Amelia.
She pauses with a hand on the door and just leans her forehead against it and goes, yes.
He'll take out a handkerchief and hand it towards you. Here.
She takes it and wipes at her eyes and her face and just comes away with more blue paint, and she just shakes her head and just says, fuck. This isn't what I wanted. It couldn't be simple. It couldn't just be easy.
Cressida used to always tell me, the easy path is usually never the right one.
It would have been mighty convenient.
I thought that too once. And he kind of spreads his arms wide. Well, you know where that got me. Look, I don't pretend to understand half of what I just saw or really have any advice that I can give you. You have friends, Amelia. You're never alone. You know that, right?
She pauses and smiles at the irony of what he just fucking said and goes, yes, I know. Thank you. And she starts to hand the handkerchief back, and it's just smeared and more blue paint, and goes, I'll clean this. I'm sorry.
He kind of actually gives a small laugh. It's fine. It's a cheap one anyway. All I had on me. And like he actually looks up. I mean, I would have given you better. I just didn't have.
It's fine. It's fine.
Right. Just keep it.
Suppose I should go get cleaned. And she's going to, I guess, open up the door and head out.
Okay. So, we'll say that you take a few minutes to freshen up.
Yeah, sure.
And as the sun starts to set over the horizon, the people, the non-combatants, you could say, have all left the castle, and they're getting ready to draw up the gate again. When you hear a call from the top of the tower that says, "Lone wagon headed towards us," and the voice sounds pretty surprised.
Just a wave of tension through the whole castle.
Yeah. And more guards come to see, and the wagon starts to approach the gate. Does anyone, I don't know where you all are at the moment, but is anyone towards the front wall that could take a look and would want to?
I'm not.
I mean, this is this is still that first night, right?
Oh, it's that first evening.
Yeah. No.
I mean, are the rooms by the front of the gates?
I mean, I'll be in that front room with Claire, so but I think
Right.
I'm inside.
Yeah, you would be. All right, so you guys hear a commotion in what you're doing, and Rhea, where are you at the moment?
Rhea and Schaller are still at the back.
Right. We'll say through various means and through windows, you all hear that there is a crowd gathering in the courtyard. And at some point you'll see the twins, or at least one of them, Diana, would kind of rush to the room. Rhea?
Yes.
There's an odd merchant and strange people here. You should come see.
Wait, they're showing up now?
They're in the courtyard. One of them says that they know you. Freya?
Oh. Right, just give me a moment.
And like Shala will share a look with you like, what?
Yeah.
The rest of you, you hear a commotion in the courtyard. Arast, you would definitely hear it. It's right next to you. Kieran, you're still on your campaign for preparing people and getting them drunk, right?
Yeah, I might have moved it indoor where there might be more barrels available to me.
That's just called being efficient.
I'm being extremely efficient right now.
You will see that the mess hall, the grand hall, is starting to empty out as people are going to the courtyard, talking about some strange cart that has just rolled in.
I will mosey myself out there with no less than 3 beers balanced between each hand.
Got you. Amelia, what about you?
Once she's no longer a fucking mess, she'll head out and see what the hell's going on.
All right. As you all, well, actually, Ross is an important question. Do you step outside to see what's going on, or are you not concerned?
I'm not concerned yet.
Gotcha. I would say that from where you are, any louder conversations would make it through the walls so that you could roll me a perception check, just a preemptive one.
Okay. I would be keeping an ear out.
Sure. So do it with advantage. Oh, never mind.
Oh, never mind.
So
I'm
you're
standing halfway in the door.
Right. You're in the room. You're working on stuff, but you're at least curious enough that you're keeping an ear out for what's going on, and the walls are thin enough that you can get the gist of people talking. And if an individual is talking in a normal voice, you can probably make it out. The crowded 40 to 60 people that are left in this castle make their way to the courtyard, and you see before you a fairly narrow but long wagon that is 4 wooden wheels. It has like suitcases tied on top of it, and there is just enough room in the front seat for 3 individuals. One of them you both recognize, or everyone but Kieran would recognize fairly well, is Freya. I'm curious, what is Freya wearing at this time after 3 days of traveling?
Probably kind of lowly, like layman attire, not like her academy robes at all. Like, I don't know, comfort wear for traveling, because they're not like doing anything like going around. She wouldn't have her cloak on or anything like that.
Right. And would Freya be in the middle, or would she be on either side?
I imagine the person in the middle would be the one with the reins, right?
Right.
Probably on one of the sides.
So you see Freya to the left, and next to her in the middle is a strange person. They look elvish. They're definitely female. They look elvish, perhaps. They have pointy ears and elvish features, but their skin is actually a brilliant pink, and their eyes are black and pupilless. And then when you look a little closer, you see, no, there actually is an iris there, but it's a very faint gray to where it's very easy to miss. And they have soft purple hair that falls into curly locks down their back. Kieran and Rhea, did you make it down to the courtyard?
Yeah, she probably would have head down.
So Kieran,
after that.
Rhea, and Amelia, roll me a knowledge nature check if you're proficient in it. If you're not proficient in it,
There's no knowledge nature. It's just survival and nature.
Sorry, just roll me a nature check.
Okay. Oh,
It's proficient, correct.
11. Not great.
All right, neither of the other two are proficient.
No.
All right.
Oh wait, no, I'm not proficient in it.
Oh,
never mind. I'm
never
an idiot.
All right then. Just a very strange looking girl. You've never seen anything quite like it. And then sitting to the far right, or far left, I guess from their point of view, is a middle-aged tiefling with bright blue skin and horns that tend to curve down and around behind it, almost like goat horns. Him. Down and around him, like goat horns. and all three of them seem to be sitting there, murmuring to each other, and except for Freya, of course, who I'm not sure what you're doing, but they seem to be waiting for the crowd to gather.
Freya probably has just gone back to looking at her spellbook while waiting, because she's like, I don't know who these people are, but I don't know if I want to know all 40 of them. Oh.
And eventually, when enough people have gathered, the tiefling will stand up and say, "Hello, my friends. I am the great Baboom. It's a pleasure to meet you. Brunhilde, my sweet, if you would please." And the pink-skinned girl puts down the reins and goes, "Oh, right, of course." And she jumps off the cart and starts running around to the back of it. And she runs into the back of the cart. And Baboom starts directing people towards the side of the cart. And he says, "I have never graced your presence, and I am sorry that it has taken me so long, but I am here to answer all of your needs. I am Baboon, the great merchant attaché." And he kicks a lever on the outside of the wagon. And when he kicks the lever, the side of the wagon pops open in two flaps. One flap flies upward and one flap flies down and kind of makes a countertop. And you see the girl he called Brunhilde inside it. She's wearing a very sturdy dress made out of what looks like well-knitted wool. And it's one of those dresses where the sleeves are puffy and they're a different color than the corset and the skirt. And she stands in what looks like a small makeshift shop. You see tons of items and common needs and necessities all packed in the wagon, as well as to the side a what looks like a fair pile of shovels. And as the flaps fly open, down the top of the flap, this little banner falls down about 2 feet that says "The Roving Treasures." And Baboom goes, "I am, as I said, the great merchant attaché. I am here to serve. I was told by the people that I was passing, I was told to turn around and that I was crazy, but that's neither here nor there. I was told that you were all in great need, that there is some sort of trouble coming, yes?" There's a soft murmur. I mean, none of the players say anything, that's fine, or the characters, but there's a soft murmur. And you hear "There's goblins coming." And he goes, "Ah, yes. A siege, an army. Ooh, very dangerous, very dangerous. But I have heard tales of the Order of the Lilac. But I said to myself, Baboom, this is the moment. You are needed here, so I was brought here." By the way, Freya, he was headed here 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And he goes, "I am here with all sorts of everything that you might need to help you survive this trying time at very reasonable prices. So please, all of you, step right up, talk to my lovely assistant Brunhilde, and she'll see to your needs. But..." And he clasps his hands together and kind of puts them under his chin. "But I was also told that the heroes of Korvosa may be here, yes?" And he starts looking around.
Amelia immediately starts slinking back around the corner. Just nope, I'm not going through this again.
Roll me a stealth check.
Oh no.
Please roll a 1.
No, don't do this to her.
So by the way,
Natural 20, she disappears into the distance.
I'm pretty sure Freya would be aiding him at this point with a perception check just to notice them, because that's kind of why she's here.
Yeah, of course.
Oh my God.
Go ahead and roll a perception check.
Okay. I don't think I can even come close to a 24, however.
Yeah.
But
you can try.
Amelia is the first person I see.
You immediately pick out Shala and Rhea standing together, and you see Amelia quietly melting into the crowd.
I just want you to know, Amelia, Freya is like looking straight at you, and she has this neutral expression, but she kind of softly smiles and waves. Like, I understand.
Just like as she's about to disappear around the corner, she just like gives her that awkward, just like, oh my god, just like this awkward smile and like half waves and then disappears.
Unfortunately for Rhea, who's not quite as lucky, Diana instantly starts jumping up and down.
Oh,
Right here, my sister and Shala, they're heroes of Corvosa. And Baboom like raises hands up. But of course you are. And he walks up to Shala. You must be the lovely Rhea I've heard so much about. A little skinny for a paladin, but that's okay. Who am I to judge?
Next to the girl in like full plate or armor still.
Oh my god.
And Shala goes, no, that would be her. Points to Rhea. Oh, right, of course, Rhea, I am the great Baboom. And he bows, and as he bows, his cloak flaps out behind him, as if a gust of wind, or if someone had like grabbed the back of it and just started flipping it. And you even see Brunhilde in the cart does like a proper curtsy, like she grabs her skirt and dips. I was wondering if I could borrow your ear for a moment. I have a proposition for you and your friends that I think you'll find most agreeable.
Oh god.
Oh. She kind of looks at Shala.
Shala just looks at you and shrugs, like she has no idea what's happening.
I see. Well, I don't quite know where the others are at the moment. But I suppose that wouldn't be a problem. What exactly?
Sorry, I'm trying to give you guys a picture of what he looks like, so... There. And he says, oh, it is nothing... He says, it's nothing at all. Something, service to help you. It's your lucky day I have arrived.
Can I insight check?
Absolutely, you can.
Please do. Oh my god.
I mean,
This strange tiefling is impossible to read. He is smooth as silk.
That fits. One of her flaws is that she trusts too easily, so
what you can tell is, as shall we say bombastic as he is, it is as if he takes it and wears it as naturally as one does their skin, if that makes sense.
Right.
You get the feeling that this is not an act, this is a person.
Oh boy.
I think Freya would probably step off from the like coach of the wagon and walk over to them as well. And she'd look over at Babu for a moment and back at Rhea, who's probably just standing there smiling, all trusting. And she'd say, "Oh, there's no reason. Let me rephrase that. That sounded wrong. Trust him. He's a good person, even though most merchants may not be."
He claps his hands. He claps his hands. Yes, listen to your friend and my friend, good friend Freya. He puts an arm around Freya's shoulders. They are as beautiful as you told me.
There's this like awkward.
Yeah, like Freya never said that they were beautiful.
But Freya like gives this awkward smile to Rhea and Shala, and she says, "Trust me, you'll see. Um, perhaps we could have this conversation not in front of." And she's just kind of looking around.
To everyone.
You know, just the
To get
entire order.
Amelia.
Yes. Grab your friends. I promise you, you will like what I have to say. I am going to offer something to you that even Timberonian himself from Corvosa could not.
You know, ironically enough, when you said a weird merchant was coming, I thought you were talking about him.
Huh. Not quite, no.
No, clearly not.
How is Kieran reacting to all this? I'm curious.
She is just kind of standing in the group of the crowd, trying to nurse each one of the ails as she can. She's just kind of staring over her mug. She doesn't seem like he stands out among the freaks that she's seen necessarily in her life. She's waiting for more sparkles to happen. It's definitely a show.
Gotcha. You guys do see that people do start walking up to the wagon, and Brunhilde is talking to them and showing off wares, and she seems very cheerful, very friendly. Smiles rest easily upon her face as she shows off all manner of items, from lanterns to rations to shovels. Apparently, she keeps going back to the shovels that there seems to be a fairly large collection of. Baboon nods, and he goes, "So, where would you like to talk? It'll take some time for Brunhilde to get through all our customers, yes?"
Freya just kind of blinkingly looks at Rhea, looking for an answer.
Right. Yeah, I'm
It's your house, man.
I know, give me a second. Aside from the main hall area where everyone gathers, would there be like another more private area?
Yeah, like an
that
alcove.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, there would be.
So she'll start leading those that are there to that spot, and she will lean down to Diana and give her just a couple of silver pieces and ask her to go find a Ross or Amelia and send them that way.
Okay. Kieran, you would also notice the very noticeable blue tiefling moving with Rhea and Shala towards the mead hall.
That's good and wonderful. I'm going to get in line for one of these shovels.
So as you get to the car, as you get towards the cart, you see Brunhilde, and she's like, "Oh, absolutely, we do. We have all the flasks you need. Holy water we're a little bit low on, but we do have. But have I shown you the shovels? They're very nice, very high quality, very sturdy." And she picks one up and kind of tries to bend it, and she goes, "But we have plenty of them, more than you could ever need, and they are really cheap." And she gives a smile. And
Can
no
I try
one's
and take
interested.
the shovel from her?
Yeah, like you're the first one that's been
I want to
interested.
try and bend it.
You take a shovel, roll me a strength check.
You bend it, you buy it.
It's pretty sturdy. It bends a little bit. It's got a wooden handle, and you hear like a little splinter, you know. But for a shovel, it's not bad. It's pretty sturdy. It's well made. It's not, you know, the best shovel you've ever seen, but it's certainly not the worst.
Oh, can you put this one back up on the shelf and give me a fresh one? No, buy that one.
Brunhilde's like eyes light up, and she goes, "Oh, you would? Oh, that's so fantastic. Baboon, he got a lot of them, said that they were cheap, that we could really make money with them, and no one really wants shovels, it's odd. And she'll take it back, and she takes another shovel, and she hands it to you, and that'll be 5 silver pieces.
Of course, and I give her a gold piece, and I'm gonna look at her and be like, now that's a tip. I got another one for ya. You're selling it wrong. Everybody's yard is gonna be full of goblins. We're gonna have to bury the lot of them all over the place. They're gonna be wanting shovels. She kind of bends at the shovel again, and we starts heading back, following the suspicious-looking character.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Not so much.
Oh, there was a chance there. There's a chance to become the great shovel-wielding paladins of lore.
I tried to help.
But as you make your way back, you hear calling from behind you, "Thank you! You're now my new favorite customer." I mean, of course.
Somebody's favorite.
And you hear like more softly, "Of course, sir, you could be next."
Oh man, I feel cheated on.
Ross, the door would burst up. You've heard everything Baboom said. You have heard, no problem. And the door will burst open eventually, and it'll be Diana. She'll be like, "Oh, there you are, Ross. Rhea said, join her in the mead hall. The great Baboom wants to speak to all of you." And then she just rushes off.
The who?
Holy shit.
Great.
Oh my god. Incredible.
So she'll set down her tools and everything and go out to the Great Hall to find Baboon.
Gotcha. And I'd say about a minute later, running around the corner, Diana runs right past Amelia and then like skids to a stop like 10 feet down. "Amelia, there you are. Hey. I think your makeup's running."
Oh, fuck. Oh,
Anyway.
Adjusts her scarf, just like, no.
Rhea said, she like holds her sides, "Tell you to go to the mead hall."
Are you
And she-
alright?
She like waves her hand half-heartedly. "Baboom the Great wants to speak to you.
The what?
The great blue guy wants to speak." Whew.
You should maybe go sit down.
Mead hall! Rhea
Okay,
needs you
All
in the
right,
mead
okay.
hall.
I'm going.
Like she's less like angry and more like determined to get the message out.
Just trying to get it out before she has to wheeze again.
Right.
Yeah, Amelia just like kind of raises her hands. She's just like, all right, okay, I'm going. Starts heading towards the main hall.
You guys eventually make your way to the Great Hall, and the whole time Baboom is like, "This is wonderful architecture. Is it dwarven? I've not seen the like before." And then
Oh.
out of
character, I have no idea.
yeah, neither does Rhea.
Okay,
I mean,
that's
I don't know if Rhea's ever cared who built it.
Probably not.
Like, maybe with no answer, he just, like, answers himself and goes, "Well, of course, I've never seen it before. I've never been here. Ha ha!" And, like, slaps you on the back.
Oh,
Oh my god.
And you all make your way to the alcove, and Baboom sits down, splays out his purple and blue robes, and crosses his legs, and goes, "Come, my friend, sit. Let us talk business, yes? You, with the mugs, might I be able to pry one off of you?"
If you don't mind that I've had my lips on all of them.
Oh, my dear lovely dwarf, that simply adds flavor.
I like you, all right.
Fuck.
God.
What?
I hate it. Oh no.
Oh no.
Comes over and she hands him the cup, but before she lets go, she's, I've known some greasy boys in my life. They're suspicious at best. And then she lets go of the cup and is going to take a few steps back from this.
He looks down at himself and then back at Kearney. My dear dwarf, I have been many things in my life. Greasy. Never one of them.
She tries not to laugh into her ale.
And he'll take a long swig and put it on the table. Do the rest of you like sit down around the table, or what are you doing?
Yeah, real set.
Yeah, Ross is standing kind of impatient. Like,
I'll share my ale with everyone. Since I've already drank off of it and he accepted, I'm just going to start trying to hand out what's in my hand.
Oh my god.
The floodgates have been opened.
No. Yeah. Eventually Amelia gets in there and is like looking around and goes, oh, okay. Starts heading over. Still kind of like dabbing at herself, trying to be semi-presentable.
As you all
Her eyes are probably still red and puffy.
a little bit, yeah. As you all sit down, he puts down the mug and he goes, right, well, perhaps I should start at the beginning. I am trying to gain a foothold in Corvosa, as it were, for trade, though I am finding it incredibly difficult. Timuronian the Great, as good a man as he is, does have a bit of a stranglehold on the shopping, shall we say, in Corvosa, that I'm sure you're well aware of. It is difficult for one such as myself to match the splendor of the great wizard that he can do. So I say to myself, Baboon, you can make these things that he can make, so you can't compete in goods. But maybe you can compete in service. Yes, maybe you can offer something that no other merchant offers. And then I spent 3 days traveling with your lovely friend here, Freya. And he like waves at you, even though you're like 4 feet away.
Freya just kind of looks at him blinkingly and like slowly waves in response.
And I have heard all the lovely things she has said about all of you, and I am quite convinced that you are just exactly what I need, and I am exactly what you need. It is very fortunate that we have found each other.
Freya quickly kind of looks around at everyone and gives like this kind of like shrug, like she kind of said all that, but also like it's very obvious that he's saying a lot of things she didn't say.
Right, she's probably not exactly a jabberjaw. He says, so I've called myself a merchant attaché. How many times have you, the great heroes of Corvosa, been neck deep in danger, half the way down a dungeon, or fighting some evil being, when you say to yourself, I'm missing something. I needed that torch, or that spell, or someone to disarm this trap, or perhaps I needed a good shovel. But it's too late now. There's no merchants around, and town is miles away. I am sure this is something that you would have all run into, yes? And, like, giving, like, just a split second, almost not even enough time to answer, he goes, of course, everyone has. So, I say to myself, how can I help them? How can I truly be of service to them? And then, Brunhilde, my sweet, she comes across the perfect idea. I am a merchant attaché, meaning I am in some way linked to you. Instead of you having to go to the merchant, you bring the merchant to you. and he pulls out a small medallion. It's a circular medallion. It looks like a very fancy, almost like a gold coin, but it's very large. It's about the size of a small saucer. And he places it on the table. This item is a very, very special item. Custom made, lot of money, very expensive. It is a marker of sorts. The holder of this marker can do two things once a day. The first thing is they can send a message to me via a spell called sending. I'm sure you've heard of this spell, yes?
We're familiar.
Good, excellent. And the second thing is that it allows me to teleport to this marker and back once a day. So, the idea is, if you are ever finding yourself in need, you send a message to me. Night or day, it does not matter. You give me a list of what perhaps you need, and then within minutes, boop, I am there. And we do business. And then, boop, away I go. Easy peasy, no muss, no fuss. I can see that you are all speechless.
Are you trying to do a sales deal right now?
Absolutely. She is a very sharp one. You told me, Freya. This one was the sharp one. Amelia, yes?
Amelia
Freya
just like
starts
puts her
laughing.
hand over her face, just like, oh my god.
Freya just starts laughing, but she'll look over at Ross and say, of course, that's her."
Rhea just looks very confused.
Perhaps.
Ross just kind of narrows her eyes and she's like, yeah, sure, Amelia.
What?
Well, perhaps it would help if I were to... and he reaches into his robe and pulls out a scroll and rolls it on the table. There. A list of all the services I can provide. This is, of course, in addition to anything in my inventory that I can give you. And, give me a second here. Oh, it's not there. It's here. I'm going to share this with all of you. And it's a list of all the spells that he provides and their general costs. And he says, as you can see, I am very well suited for utility. I can do everything from impressing spectators to dispelling traps to even giving you a safe place to rest for the night. And if the need should arise, I'm typically not what one would call a combatant, but I am very talented in that area as well. My Eldritch Blasts are the best you'll ever find. I can even use them to knock someone out instead of killing them, in case you ever need to, say, interrogate someone. And as an added bonus, all of my Eldritch Blasts that knock someone out freshen them up, makes them smelling nice, because no one wants to interrogate an horribly smelling orc.
Tierney's nodding with this.
Amelia just like looks down at the scroll and then looks back up at him. Just this look of pure skepticism. Like, there's no hiding it. She's just like silently calling bullshit.
Rhea's even more confused than before.
I can see a demonstration. And he'll take the mug that's now empty, toss it up in the air, and he fires off... Yes, hang on, before that happens, the mechanical fox would like to do something?
Oh, shoot. While all of this is going on, I didn't mean to interrupt what you were saying,
No,
but
it's fine.
Ross is actually trying to look for that medallion, and that's what she's focused on.
Gotcha.
Like, single-mindedly.
As in, like, pick it up or just look at it?
I'm, like, keeping my eye on it, and I want to touch it.
Sure. Roll
because-
me an investigation
I
check.
want to cast Identify.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? You can. No one's going to stop you, especially not him. So we'll say you do this as he does his thing. So he throws the mug into the air and he shoots an Eldritch Blast, but this Eldritch Blast is literally rainbow colored. And it hits the mug, and as the mug falls down, he catches it again, and he holds it out, and it smells like someone just hit it with Febreze. Baboom is many a things. He's an excellent merchant, a dashing tiefling, sometimes every once in a while a poet. The one thing he is not is a liar.
I'd like to roll insight on him.
By all means.
Oh.
This tiefling is weird and hard to read, but he is smooth as silk.
Oh my god. Amelia's just like, I've had too much emotional whiplash today. This is over my head.
Freya will speak up though. She'll I realize that Mr. Baboom is a bit strange. Still, with what I've heard and what seems to be the case, you need as much help as you can get, and he helped me get here. Free of charge, actually. There were some things I had to do, but not monetary. I promise you that having him here will be of great aid to the Order of the Lilac and to all of us.
And to you, in all of your travels, understand this is not a small offer I am saying here. It's not expiring in a week. No, I intend to help you out through all of your travels at any time. In return, all I ask is that you spread my name. Perhaps mention that the great Baboom has helped you. And of course you don't have to do it until services are rendered, and we do fair transaction. But if the heroes of Corvosa say my name, well, even Timronian couldn't compete with that, eh? So, Aras, from your Identify spell, you find that this charm actually does have two magical enchantments on it. A sending spell that is linked to what you can only assume is another mark of identical origin, and a teleportation spell. But the one you're holding in your hand is more the anchor, not the teleporter.
Sure. She was more interested in the sending spell, and is it tied to a specific person?
Correct. Yeah, it's tied to a specific marker.
Okay.
So, I mean, from what your Identify spell told you, it is as he said.
Okay. She will be slightly less focused on it.
Aha, I see. You have certain spells of your own. That is good, But sometimes your spells may be necessary for other things, like the fighting or the impressing and the like. Sometimes it's good to have a friend that can just pop in and help you.
I mean, help is always positive.
And I am all about positivity, let me assure you.
Yeah, this popping in, it can only be done if we summon you, correct?
Correct. The last thing I ever want to do is give you a sense of worry. In fact, my patron would be most upset at me if I ever did that. No, I am not here to invade your privacy or to pop in on you at unexpected times. Absolutely not. I am here only when you need me. And, of course, have the coin to pay.
I mean, you would be an alternative to Timronius.
He like brightens up at that. Yes, wonderful man. Well, He's just like giving this like
Immediate regret.
he did well, let's say an old man set in certain ways, but a wonderful magician. You've seen him make things as simply exquisite. But I expect one day I will be able to have an inventory just as good as his, and when I do, then I'll have an inventory to match and a service he could never provide. Too old, you see. But me, he hits his chest, I'm still young and strong and with great power.
And how much would this service cost for us to carry?
He grins. Why, nothing at all. Except that, as I said, from time to time you spread my name. Tell people the great Baboom is a merchant to be trusted, to be giving your business to. Yes, I would probably charge a certain retainer, of course, but I feel that it is much more beneficial to both you and me that we do a little tit for tat. I waive the retainer and become your personal merchant at your beck and call, and in return, you say good things about me name. In fact, if you want, I do have bandanas with my special logo that you could say wear around your arm or your head, perhaps, if you'd want. It's optional. He does like a little hand wave. It's optional. Just ideas.
We'll take it into consideration. As Amelia kind of like glances around the table, and she still just looks so skeptical. Just like
Freya will speak up though, while looking down at his scroll, like that he laid out for price essentially. I'm not extremely experienced in buying, I guess, normal things. The Academy used to provide that all for me, but spellcasting services, his rates are actually very fair. A little bit under average.
Yes.
If we were to want that sort of service provided alongside the convenience of him always coming to us, it's much better than going to Timronia.
These are special prices for you. To be completely honest with you, I could really use this. Your words carry great weight in Korvosa. You have done them a great service. In fact, I had heard that the city might not stand were it not for you. So I offer you discounted prices. It is a way to show good faith and to help ensure that you have actual reason to spread my name. The last thing I want is to cheat someone. I promise you right here, right now. I will always charge fair prices, and I will never try to overcharge or underhandedly sneak you. It is not my way. In fact, as I said, my patron would not allow it even if I had wanted to.
I mean, yeah, if these seem like good prices, do
Freya would certainly not.
you
Yeah,
want us to sign a contract, or what if at some point things change and we to go a different way?
Contracts would not be necessary. Plus, Brunhilde hasn't finished putting them up yet. It's not necessary at all. I think that accepting my marker would be more than fine, and if things ever change, you simply call me. I will come, you give it back, we part ways. It'll be a very sad day for Baboom, of course, but of course I do not want unwilling partners at any time.
I don't see a problem with this.
Yeah, I think it sounds kind of nice. Can, do you want one of those bandanas?
He
Right?
grins.
Are those free?
He grins. But of course. And he pulls out from his pocket. And excuse me. He as he pulls it out, he casts prestidigitation and like sparks fly out of his robe. And he holds them forward, and on his hand are draped several different colored bandanas, and on each of them is simply his face.
Oh my god.
Brunhilde designed these. I thought a little ostentatious, but she assures me that they'll do the trick.
I like it. You always know who you're looking for.
That is exactly what she said. She would like you.
I'm gonna put one of those on right away.
Oh my god.
Ross will look for one that has a complementary color to Kitty's fur.
Yeah, he'll have one.
I'm thinking like a purplish something.
Oh god, purple and blue are like what the majority of them are.
Okay, good.
She'll take a couple.
Take one.
He'll nod, and he's just grinning like from ear to ear, and he goes, This was a good day. Excellent. Well, then perhaps keep the scroll with you, and as well, next time you see Brunhilde, ask her she'll give you a list of my common goods and inventory, and it will change, of course, as much as I can, and I will always be close at hand. You'll understand that I can follow you to the city and never be too far away, but if you go anywhere particularly dangerous, I am concerned for Brunhilde. So if you are somewhere dangerous, I would use the marker to travel to you. I can take care of myself, but I'd never forgive myself if she was hurt. So while we can travel with you by cart wherever you go, normally, if it's anything too dangerous, then I'll use the marker. I'll be there within minutes.
We'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Well, please, by all means, look at the rest of my inventory. Also, if you have things that you'd like to trade, I do accept trades as well, and even can offer gold instead. Anything that you need. So I am working my way through Baboom's entire inventory. It's going to be very, very clear that his inventory is much bigger than what a wagon that size would normally be able to carry. But for the time being, I'm going to share a couple of things with you guys. For the time being, know that he has pretty much most of the materia. So if you need to buy or want to buy materia, he can accommodate you. In fact, he'll even mention, I did have a very good chat with Timuronian, and I was able to take several of his new little materia things off his hands. Remarkable little things. Like I said, he's an absolute genius. Even if he doesn't always look at me the right way, it's fine. I'm going to give you guys in Discord a link to his more mundane inventory. Keep in mind that most of this he probably has enough to fulfill your needs. Ask beforehand. He might only have a few depending on what it is, and I will in time actually update that to where what you see is exactly what he has. But as you can see, it's quite a bit.
Wait, can I ask you something?
Yes.
Could you pin this so that it's easy to access for us?
I will do so.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll pin that, and I've got one more thing for you. He does have magical items. I don't have those quite ready just yet. So,
would you be willing to purchase items as well if we have things that we need to or are looking to sell?
my dear sweet Amelia, I am always looking to expand my inventory, and I will give you a very fair market value on anything that you sell.
Oh, okay.
So, I'm pretty sure it's clear for most of you. The services are spells, rituals, and things that he can cast at if and when you need him to. The inventories, whether magical or mundane, are things that are kept on either his person or wagon. The idea being that if you choose to use his services, you guys at any time, once a day, can send him a message saying, "Hey, Baboom, we need lots of shovels." And a
I'm sure
potion
that
of
would make his
climbing,
day.
and then a minute or two later, he will appear with whatever you need. And it could also be as well, Baboom, we need help fighting this big thing, and he will appear. Just keep in mind, he will charge you for every Eldritch Blast. It's not that expensive, but if it's a long fight, just know what you're getting into. Sometimes it's very much worth the money.
Yeah.
I mean, paying 5 gold every turn to deal, like an extra 4d4? No, why did I say 4d4? Like 4d10 of damage. That's not bad. He's probably not 20th level. Why did I say that?
Yeah, I was gonna say. Look, I'm not gonna short sell you, but yeah, more like 2d10 plus something damage.
Well, because he would have possibly agonizing blast, 2d10 plus like 8. That's still pretty good.
And don't forget the Febreze. Very important.
That's
If-
the important part.
if
Yeah.
ever
we
you need to capture and interrogate.
we capture Gadrian Lamb. He actually smells nice for once. We interrogate him.
I have found this is actually one of my most popular services.
Jesus.
Oh, hey, look at that. Even more growth. Fun.
So, with that, I will pull this out more narratively, and we can actually get down to the cow in the corner of the room.
Wait, what?
Who brought that?
I thought that cow was back in Old Corvosa.
As far as you know, that was a long time ago. What do you guys? We're gonna pull this back more narratively. Obviously, you guys can get a long rest. Baboom is staying here, and he will even say, if mentioned, "How could I possibly think of leaving you when you are about to face such a challenging fight? No, I'll be here in case my services are needed. I may hide Brunhilde in perhaps a more fortified position if that is okay, but me, I'll be here at any time."
As long as you're willing to pay.
As long as you have the gold.
Oh my god. Okay, so do we have a plan?
Ross is gonna start to walk towards the path to get some ale. And then if nobody says anything to her, she's going to try to walk out back to Claire's room.
I think. Oh no. I think there would be kind of this awkward, like, Freya's walking over to you. She looks like she wants to talk to you, but doesn't have, like, the nerves to actually walk up and initiate a conversation.
You guys are
It's
so
like
awkward.
No, she is pretty awkward.
Yeah, we have the most
she
outgoing
probably,
party.
like, looks down and is, like, mumbling to herself for a bit and doesn't seem certain of what to do.
Extroverts, all of us.
Squee, is there like a role that I could do, like an insight check or something, to see if a Ross would actually recognize or register that she may have wanted to have a conversation?
Yeah, roll an
You-
insight check. I thought
If
you were
you're
gonna be like.
actively checking,
Oh,
you would...
shit.
Oh,
I was gonna say,
dang.
if the question is yes, he probably could cast something to make you more friendly, but I don't think you'd want him to. You're very aware that Freya has been looking to talk to you. It's up to you whether or not you want to.
Yep. No, I will stop and talk. I just thought she was distracted, but apparently not.
In fact, it's almost refreshing to read her after trying to read someone like Baboom.
Freya's
Yes!
just really twiddling her thumbs like, help me.
Freya, how was the journey?
Ah, mm, different? It's definitely not something I'm used to, traveling around in a wagon on a dirt road.
It
Much more used to the academy. But
it's probably was better than being on a horse.
she seems to be in thought for a bit and says, maybe. I've studied some incantations for stuff similar, but I've never actually ridden a normal horse. I wouldn't know.
Wait, you've never ridden a horse?
She nods no, pretty sincerely.
Oh,
It
we
it's not really something you need to know how to do if you're constantly sheltered in a room reading.
that's true. But I spent a lot of time reading. Rode a horse, so anyways, did you take care of everything you needed to in the city?
Yeah. I went back to the academy to see what they were summoning me for. It wasn't too important. I'm still technically enrolled, actually. But, it's sort of like being on vacation. I wouldn't really call this vacation. It's a bit too stressful and tense.
So, like a sabbatical or field
Mm,
study?
a field study. That sounds much nicer on paper.
Wait, what?
I. What?
What does it say on paper?
No, it's.
No, I'm asking, what is your official status? They didn't kick you out.
No, they didn't kick me out. I'm still enrolled. I'm a student. It's just you're supposed to have a reason for not attending classes and lectures and sometimes giving lectures.
And well, if you're with us, I mean, that would make it difficult.
It certainly does. But
Huh.
that's something that I'm still thinking about is should I keep ties to the academy? Should I just leave? It's difficult. I'm not being funded anymore by um mm, Raylan. So I'm really not sure. I think with how much we've amassed recently, I could still pay for my courses without any issues, but is it worth it if I'm not there? That's sort of trouble.
That's. Didn't think about that. Well, I mean, I'm always one to express the virtues of an education, but I don't think you have to necessarily learn indoors all the time. And I mean, I was never professionally, formally taught. And look at me.
When you say that, she kind of nervously smiles, but she'll nod though and say, I know. Um, you're definitely very talented in a different field than I am in, but I don't think was that a fox? What was that?
Oh, yeah, you see me messing around with them, I'm sure, at the warehouse and everything.
Well, I did see you at the start. It looks a little different now, but it looks very fleshed out. Maybe that's not the right word for that sort of thing.
I mean, she was up and you should have seen her this morning. I mean, wow, she was nice and functional and doing everything I said, and then we found some goblins, and she's a little glitchy. So,
Glitchy?
yeah, when you see her, she's not at her best. So don't judge her based on. Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna get an ale. Do you want one?
I'm gonna roll for her. I don't know if she'd want that sort of thing. I don't even know what to roll for this. She's tired.
Oh,
Yeah, she'll say, kind of noddingly, sure if that's what you're getting.
I mean, wine or think water? Other.
I don't really know about that sort of stuff all that much. I don't mind anything. Just a drink.
Oh. Okay.
She gives you another awkward, nervous smile.
Was there something else you wanted to talk about?
Not really specifically, just it's good to see you. I know it's only been a few days, but I heard a lot of weird things about goblins on my way. I was just concerned, and I probably shouldn't have been.
Ross kind of looks really taken aback and like kind of softens for a minute and like, oh, yeah, it's really great to see you too. And thanks for being concerned. Appreciate it. And
she kind of stands there awkwardly, like rubbing her shoulders. I'm like not sure how to respond to that.
We really like having you around and stuff. I really do want to talk more, but kind of need to sit in the room and make sure Claire's okay. So, hey, it like Ross will kind of look around for anybody else in the group. Because she's like concerned about like, I don't want to leave Freya alone.
I mean,
so
I think Freya would continue to say, "Who's Claire? Is something wrong?"
Ria's sister. She right. You don't know what's going on. Sorry. So we got here and met all of Ria's family, and there's a lot. And then we went out to go hunting, and we ended up wandering into a cave, and there were a bunch of goblins, and then there was a bugbear, and he challenged us, and just kind of like review everything that's been going on. And Claire got cursed, and then we came back, and apparently they're going to be descending on the castle in 3 days. And Claire's Ria's older sister, and she got very sick because of the battle. I think she's cursed. Amelia really knows more about it. And so that's where we are now.
Like as Ross is progressing through the story, like Freya's slowly kind of turning her head, her expression becoming more and more concerned, and also like a little like hurt, like not knowing what to say. Because it goes from goblins to organized goblins to this person's cursed and dying. But she'll look over your shoulder some like outwards a bit and say, "Well, if you're planning to go check on her, you can. I could just come with you. I don't know what exactly her condition is, but I'd still like to at least meet her, even if she's not awake.
Sure.
That probably sounds weird.
That yeah, that's great. Come on. So that way I can go and you're still not alone.
She kind of like awkwardly smiles when you say that.
So you both make your way back to the infirmary down in the training area, which Freya, you would now realize that much of the castle is actually below ground. Excuse me.
Oh.
And you enter what looks like a small building, but then it filters down into what looks like a large training room. There's padding on the floor and training dummies and wooden weapons everywhere. And beyond that, there's like a makeshift infirmary with beds and medical supplies and things of that nature. And on one of the beds sits someone who instantly you can see a resemblance between her and Rhea, even though her hair is more brown and she is a little bit older. She's lying in bed. Her skin is pale and clammy, and she is currently awake and just staring at the ceiling. And she'll shift as she hears you approach. Hello?
Claire, you're awake. Can I get you anything?
No, thank you. I'm fine. Who's your friend?
This is Freya. She's one of my friends.
And when you say her name, her face lights up and she kind of props herself up on one elbow. Freya. Yes, I remember you. The fireball you threw the bridge to help the orphans was spectacular.
Freya just kind of tilts her head some, but she'll step aside a bit and kind of like awkwardly bow a little bit and say, at what bridge? To wait for the orphans.
Shala
Yeah.
performed a show telling us all about your deeds and your friends. And I must say, as a paladin myself, I'm a little starstruck.
Oh yeah. There's that.
There's what? There's being starstruck?
Yeah. You
Um,
know, the heroes of Corvosa, everybody wanting to see you, meet you. I'm
Oh,
sure you ran into some of that back in the city.
well, actually, it's pretty easy to get around if no one sees your face. But, some people do get a little touchy and it's strange. Anyway. um, um, I'm honored, I guess. Um, I've heard a little bit about you from Rhea. I, I don't know what to say or,
I don't suppose you by chance know any spells for removing curses, do you?
She kind of sadly looks off to the side and says, no, I'm not at that level.
That's fine. It's more than fine.
I might know where to find someone who could do that, but even then they might be even a 10-day from us.
She waves her hand away. Won't be necessary. I think in 3 days we'll have all the cure we need. And she'll kind of lay back down.
But will you be better and able to fight in 3 days?
You know, even though it's probably the most shameful thing I've ever said, no. I can barely walk right now. I would be more of a hindrance than a help out there. But the Rose Shield is in good hands, and I trust my family. And you. What better could I have fighting for me than the heroes of Corvosa? And she'll kind of lean back down.
Freya, Freya will lean into Ross some and say, I don't know if there's any way we could really mitigate or remove the curse. Not quickly, but there might be some ways to slow down the effects or relieve some of its detriments. I wouldn't know immediately off the top of my head, but I could at least, well, read. I'm at least okay at that.
Yeah, I mean, if you could find something, or if you knew somebody who could do that.
Well, I definitely know some people. I mean, the Academy would likely have capable wizards. I'm pretty sure there's actually a school completely based on curses. That's not really my place. Anyway, I don't imagine it would be cheap, and I also don't imagine I could convince them to come here, however.
Well, as Claire said, I mean, maybe this is not important. Take care of those goblins and we'll be fine, right?
Freya,
Mm-hmm.
if you would like to spend a minute, you could roll an Arcana check, an advantage using your tome to see if you could find anything about curses, either specific or even in general.
Here's what I'll do.
Mm-hmm.
I will roll it so you can think about what you want to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll continue my conversation. But she would definitely do so, like, probably in a few minutes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to set it to advantage. I forgot.
Right below your chat window, next to the modifier, there's a little button that says ADV.
Ah, thank you.
And
Now I will roll.
all of Ross is thinking is like, magic stuff. If you die, it goes away, right? So.
Mm-hmm. Is Ross saying that to Freya?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. While she's looking, she'll say that,
Well, normally there's a few weird exceptions, but with the curse, I think it might work that way. It still feels wrong to rely on that, and even worse to just tell her to wait until we kill the person who cursed her.
No, I'm not saying to wait. I don't know what I'm saying.
Well, don't get the wrong idea. I don't blame you at all. This is just a bad situation.
No, I'm just realizing I'm a little bit over my head when it comes to these magic spells and things.
Sorry, I was gonna hear you say you hear a laugh in the bed. You and me both, sister.
Freya also kind of laughs too. She would say, I've dedicated a large portion of my life to studying it, and I have no idea what that curse is or how to fix it still, so I'm not sure there's anyone who could really say they completely understand magic. There's the big shots at the Academy who sort of understand it. I think we're all in over our heads. If that means anything. Maybe that's bad, actually. She just kind of like looks off nervously.
Yeah, Ross is just gonna ask Claire if she needs anything. And if she can't get her anything, she's just gonna kind of sit in the corner.
Nope, I'm good. Thanks.
And she'll go back to fixing Kitty.
All right. Getting the duct tape out.
Putting
Freya.
in new wires, yeah.
All right, and then Freya takes a minute to thumb through the tome.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a section on curses, as wizards are curious about all things. You do know that, or you do learn that curses typically tend to be not arcane in nature all the time. They tend to be more shamanistic or religious. Many gods will place curses upon people. That said, that does not mean that the Academy has not studied them.
Right.
You do not find anything about this curse in particular. The knowledge is more general, but you do find that several studies have shown that dispel magic, while not possible or able to cure a curse. Since a curse is by nature magical, a dispel magic spell can provide temporary relief. It will not remove the curse or lessen it, but it will mask the symptoms and reduce the suffering of the patient. It can.
Mm-hmm. I think she would look up over at Aras and she kind of motioned for her to come over a bit kind of quietly. But would Aras actually
Yeah.
come over?
She'll
Okay.
come over.
She would lean in a bit and whisper in your ear and say, "Well, I can't find a permanent solution. Well, not a viable one immediately anyway, but I think I know of a way to make it more bearable for her. It just might cost something, promise."
For what? What do you mean?
Well, due to the curse's nature, if we unrooted it some, were to cast Dispel Magic on it, for instance, it might make some of the symptoms less prevalent and she might feel a little better. It would be like having pain relief.
Well, can you do that?
I can, but I didn't. Actually, I should ask you, Squee. Because how do you think someone would say they didn't prepare that spell and make it make sense in character? Like, how metagamey do you want
I
me to be
haven't
about this?
memorized it right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
you need some
Wizards
time to
still,
study it.
yeah, wizards
Yeah.
still need to memorize their spells.
She would kind of look up awkwardly. Then I don't have it memorized right now. I can just would need some rest. A
Yeah.
lot of rest.
Yeah, I mean, I have a room here. You can take my room. I don't even know where it is.
Well, before I go do that, what I was going to suggest is, if we wanted to, Mr. Baboom is very capable of casting the same magic, and he doesn't have to have it memorized.
Well,
I'm sure he would charge a bit, but it would definitely make her feel better.
well, yeah. I didn't even see that on the spell list.
She kind of weakly smiles and says, "I witnessed him casting a few of his miracles, as he calls them,
Oh,
on our way here."
I see it on the spell list now. Yeah, definitely. Here, I'll pay for it myself.
Are you sure? I could definitely pitch in. I don't mind.
It's. I mean, yeah. I've got it. It's fine, and I'll reach out and give her like 200 gold. if you could,
Freya?
yeah, if you could
Okay.
go get him, that would be great.
Actually, let me ask. I know he like handed out that token to just cast anything to talk to him. We should probably clarify who has that for future reference.
Well, right. I'm more than willing to let you guys choose, but Ross was the last one to touch it. She cast
Yeah.
Identify on it, picked it up. So, but I mean, if you had wanted to hand it off to someone else, I'm fine with that.
Amelia doesn't want it.
I mean, Ross is fine with having it. She wants to figure out how the sending spell works. I mean, like, I know that mechanistically she can't, but just from a character point of view,
Mm-hmm.
she would.
Right, like explore it.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you send?
Oh, I'm not actually going to use it right now.
Oh, gotcha,
I mean, he's
gotcha,
in the
gotcha.
other room.
Right,
That's
gotcha.
very
I thought you were
fair.
just experimenting.
No, I just meant she's going to, like,
Hold on to it.
hold on to it if,
Yeah.
if nobody else wants it.
Okay, I just wanted to clear that up for later to make sure someone had it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah,
but-
no, you can hear him out in the courtyard. Apparently talking to Kieran. I see you about one of the shovels. Very useful.
Kiri's probably digging holes in the courtyard, demonstrating how nice the shovel is, trying to
Kiri
cheer him
knows.
up because of the shovel purchase he made.
Oh no.
The courtyard
Don't break
is,
it!
The
Oh,
courtyard
look
is
at that one! You could fit a small dog in it. I could dig graves all day with this. Goblins, just gonna fit right in there. They'll never. Good fertilizer.
I would
Fit a
say
large dog in that one.
the courtyard is mostly flagstone, but there are, even though it's not represented on the map, there are definitely grassy parts with large trees, and there is one of the older wait staff, Rhea, the one that you had spoken to with briefly last session. I need to look up her name. But she'd be like actually
Yes.
there on like a step stool, pruning like a large tree right above Kieran's head. And she'd be like, excuse me.
Yes. Look at this hole. Tell me this is not the finest hole.
No, I see it. I definitely see it. Could you not dig holes in our yards?
Kearney looks at the shovel and then looks up at the lady and then like slowly hides the shovel behind her back. You know, if you make some bad stew or something, you could probably bury it in one of these holes. Come on, good sir. And I'm gonna try and like reach up and link arms with Baboom and to like lead him away from my crap.
Baboon goes, oh, very sorry about that, and cast, Drew, oh god, what's it called? Druid craft.
Druidcraft?
And, fills the hole in with the dirt.
Oh, you're handy when a lady gets too drunk, aren't you?
Well, more that, I find it not best to piss off potential customers. He kind of grins. But it was
See,
a
I'll
very
go
good
around-
hole.
Yep, I'll go around digging holes and you find a way to cover them. You could probably charge him for covering those holes.
He shakes his head. He goes, I like your thought, your enthusiasm, but I find it more entertaining to earn money the honest way.
You just wait. We'll be honest when you're trying to bury dozens of little tiny goblin butts.
He nods. He goes, that is a fair point. I did not consider that. We'll say that's like when a Ross goes outside.
Well, I think she wanted to Freya to
Oh,
go
sorry.
be her like errand girl.
Oh, right, Freya. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Freya finds
Because
him.
Freya's the best people person.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Ross just didn't pick. He's, distracted.
No, it's totally fine. Freya would definitely go. She probably doesn't even know if you handed her. She probably thinks you handed her too much gold on. But she'll definitely go out to the courtyard. And I guess she'll see Kieran walking with Baboom, probably shoveling her hand off to dig another hole, but he's telling her not to.
She's convincing him.
I'm very, very convincing.
She
Freya, my sweet. It's good to see you again. Your friends were as charming as you mentioned.
Freya just kind of looks down at a giant bag in her hands full of gold coins, and she kind of shakes it a little bit. It's good to see you again, Mr. Baboom. Sorry, I was distracted. Wait, could you please perform a service for us? I realize
Absolutely.
it's quick.
And well, no, he wouldn't unlink hands with Curity. He'd just steer her towards Freya.
That's fine. Don't spill the drink.
And he would say, "Well, of course, the coins in that bag are almost as musical as your voice, my dear. What could I possibly do for you?"
You would notice she kind of like falls back a little bit flustered, but she looks back at him though. Sorry, he distracted me. Right, to the training hall and then to the infirmary. I'll meet you there. There's someone in the infirmary who had a curse casted on them. I don't think any of your services would be able to fix or remove the curse, but if you were to cast Dispel Magic, it would make her feel better.
Dispel magic for a curse? I have not heard such a thing, but yes, I could certainly do it. Please, lead the way.
And Freya will guide him and Kirani down to the infirmary.
Right, he would get down there and he would nod to Ross. Hello again. Pleasure to see you.
Oh, hi.
And then he'll walk over to the bed where Claire is and say, I assume this is the lucky patient, yes?
I mean, patient. I'm not sure would consider herself lucky.
Claire would be like, I'm as lucky as they get.
Well, okay. And she's the lucky patient.
And he'll nod and he'll look up and he'll say, so, about this particular spell, I am unable to cast it as a, shall you say, a ritual. I would need to actually use my power, and because of the nature of my gifts, it can only be cast at my full potential. So this might be a bit stronger than you're thinking, but I think that could only do good, yes?
Is he like looking at someone specifically?
He's kind of looking back and forth between you.
Freya would nod and say, that might actually be better.
I mean, it won't hurt her, right?
She'd quickly look over to Ross and say, no, it would slow down, no, soothe the effects of the curse. It would be like medicine. That's the best I can relate it to.
Yes, this one needs soothing, I think. And, oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying, okay.
And he'll pull up the sleeves of his robe, and he will look down to Claire, and he'll say, may the gentle touch of the unicorn serif soothe your aches as it has soothed mine. And he will cast Dispel on her. I would like you both to roll me a perception check.
Yeah, I just realized Ross is really low on hit points. She wasn't even paying attention at that time.
Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. So you were not watching?
No, the perception, that's why she rolled so bad.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha.
Wait, is Ross obviously hurt?
Yep.
I think so.
She's really
Oh.
hurt. Freya, you would notice because you've seen this before. After he casts Dispel Magic, he also places a hand on her head, and you see the smallest hint of radiant energy go into her, and she looks better. The one of the cuts on her cheek that had been cleaned mends, and he puts his hands up and he goes, "Well, I don't know how much that did, but hopefully it is, shall we say, effective. It will be 160 gold, I believe."
Freya kind of looks over at Ross and looks back at him smiling and oh, 160. Thought it would be more, but fine. And she'll kind of wink some. Probably.
Wait, what?
No, she's like making it obvious that she noticed what he did.
Gotcha.
But
He will smile.
She'll definitely hand him the bag of gold. Actually, she might, if he wanted her to, because I think Aras handed her 200. She might have to help Aras take out 40 pieces. But
yeah, so you guys
I don't know.
take out 40 pieces of gold, then hand the rest to him. He'll heft it and he'll say, "Well then, I think this is a auspicious moment. The first transaction between good friends. Well, there's plenty to be doing outside. If you be needing me, of course, you can find me or Brunhilde. I will be more than happy to see to your needs. I hope for the best for your friend." And he will give a bow, and his cloak will flap again as if there's a gust, but there's no gust. In fact, it looks more like something is just shaking it. Freya, roll me an Arcana check. Actually, both of you roll me Arcana checks.
No, this is the same roll as before.
Holy crap!
Hey, that's not fair.
Oh wow.
Okay, both of you seeing it close up. He's got an unseen servant following him around.
Wow.
I think Freya is watching his cape, and she it's very obvious to she's just staring directly below it a little bit. But she kind of looks up at him smiling, very appreciative of the usage of the spell.
Ross will just kind of cock her head to the side and go like, "Have you been like that this whole time? This whole trip? Like, for the last 3 or 4 days?"
Is he asking Freya that?
Yeah, like, has he been this, over the top? Continuous for,
Yes. He is the great baboom. I mean, where would the great come from otherwise?
I mean... Okay. I would have assumed he was selling snake oil, but, clearly not, so... Anyways... Claire! Is she awake?
She is not only looking less pale and better, she is in a deep sleep, breathing evenly.
Can't ask her how she's doing, but she looks better. Thank you, Freya. I appreciate it.
Freya nods a little bit, but she turns over looking at Mr. Baboom and says, I wasn't the one who casted the spell, however. You should really be thanking him. But, thank you anyway.
Well, you're the one that knew it would work. I wouldn't have known.
It's just something I picked up in my past. You have your own things. Well, I wouldn't know a single thing about your gun if it came to it. It's sort of like that.
Yeah, I guess so. But but I guess I need to really sit down. I suddenly don't feel so good. All the adrenaline wore off once that Claire was feeling better.
Actually, Baboon just like starts quietly leaving. The second you say that, he stops. Ah, did I hear that perchance? I don't know why I went Irish there for a second.
I thought he left already.
He was quietly leaving. Like, he actually sat there for a while with his cloak flapping.
Oh, wow.
He started quietly leaving, but when you say that, he comes back and says, "You know, I could assist you with that, if need be."
I appreciate it, but I think it'll be okay.
Of
Sleep it off,
course.
right?
Well, as one one as tough as you, I assume a good sleep and perhaps a craft of ale might be all you need.
Freya will turn to look over at him though and say, "Well, she just doesn't want to spend the gold. That's fine. I can take care."
Well,
And she'll take out 30 gold from her bag.
It's not the gold. It's not the gold. It's fine. Really.
and he holds up a hand too, and he was like, "I was joking, of course. You do realize we are in a castle full of paladins. I think that would be cheating just a little bit." He nods and walks out of the room.
Freya just kind of looks over at her concerned and says, "Well, if you aren't going to go find someone, I will myself, or I might have something in my bag.
No, it's just a few bandages. I think that'll be okay. Yeah, we could do that.
Do you think it's a good idea to leave your wounds open when we're going to be under siege in 3
No,
days?
I'm just saying. I mean, Rhea might be able to help.
Okay,
You
I
know,
can
let's
go
not
get Rhea, but
let's not use up expendable resources. You know, let's not use potions if we don't have to. That's all I'm trying to say.
that's fine. That's smart, actually. But I'm just not going to leave you there like this, however. I'll go get her.
Thanks. Oh yeah. I suddenly feel a little woozy. I'm gonna stay right here.
I think Freya just kind of looks down and starts mumbling to herself some as she like looks over at you again before leaving the room, but does so.
I totally forgot. I have 5 hit points.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
You know,
Sib, you're in a castle full of paladins.
Honestly.
if I understood that you had 5 hit points, I think you would have had to have rolled a persuasion check against her insight for her not to force that potion down your throat.
I was way more concerned about Claire. I totally forgot about myself.
Rhea would have healed you like the second you walked.
Okay, I'm in
Well,
session, but we
I
should
guess
be
she's
finishing
really
soon.
good at hiding it. But don't worry, because Rhea can still go
Yes,
heal her
they-
now.
good.
Because
Who
Freya's
is-
gonna
Good,
come
good.
knocking on whatever
And he played
door
with
she's
Penny.
behind and possibly break it open to get to her.
In
Jesus
total
Christ.
bleeding. Total bleeding.
I ate mac and cheese.
No, not gonna actually break it open. But so go back to
Mhm.
the meat hall and go find her.
Alright, I'll see you soon. Oh,
Have fun.
hang on one second, guys. No, I'm fine. Thank you, though. I'll see you soon. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll be happy to do anything you want once I'm done. Okay? No, it's 11. Well, it might be 11:30. Either way, I don't think you're gonna make it.
Yeah, I did not realize
How far away are you?
that I hadn't done my dice.
Your fucking recoveries?
Let me see. Hang on.
I still
Yep.
cannot. Oh my god.
Hang on.
God, that's right. It hasn't even been a day since we got back.
No,
Nope,
they're all
it's
closed,
later
Oh
that
my
night.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why like when I realize she's that low, she's just gonna go find Rhea because she's like, Rhea, why aren't you doing your job?
Yeah, that's closed.
It's totally not Rhea's fault though.
Closes
it's
at
Ross
10:30,
baiting it.
10:30, 10:30.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
And
I
then
have to remember,
11:30
because it is
Friday,
the same
Saturday,
day. I have to
Sunday.
remember how many spell slots I have left.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
I have 0. I just rolled the last of my
Yeah, it closes at 10:30 except for
hit
Friday,
dice.
Saturday, and Sunday,
Would
which it
you
closes at
know at all
11:30.
if Rhea has healing hands left?
Yeah, I
What
used
else
all of
is
my lay on
there?
hands while we were in the
You
cave.
know, I don't blame you. When she said she's at 5 health here, you guys must have gone through some awful fights.
Oh my god.
I don't know what I missed. It was
What- it
probably
was-
pretty bad.
Just a taste of things to come. That's all it was.
Oh, that's
Oh.
right. Yeah, that was the mini encounter. Now let's do the boss encounter.
All right.
For the side quest.
Sorry about
Mhm.
that. So I'm back. We'll say that you all get a good night's rest. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
I mean, you can seek magical healing if you want, but I mean, you guys are about
That's
to take a.
not what she was gonna try to do
Sure.
at night.
What would you
She
try
was-
and do?
She doesn't know how the whole dreaming thing and Desna showing up works, so she's gonna try and go like after Aras is healed, she's still gonna stay in Claire's room,
Gotcha.
checking, watching over her and everything. And at some point before she goes to sleep, she's going to kind of be looking at her book and open it to the page of Desna, and then like try to call out and say, you know, I hope you can hear me. I don't know how this works, but great if, you know, I could talk to you. Guess. Okay. So, hope to see you in my dreams.
And you go to sleep. Roll me a D100, please. I don't think they actually have a D100.
Nope,
Just
not
roll.
right.
So roll me a D10, and that'll be the tens, and then roll me another D10, that'll be the ones. Make sense?
Yeah. Okay, that's the 10. That's the ones.
Oh.
99.
Oh. Well,
Wow.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
that's not good.
Okay.
That's very not good. You have a
Oh,
very
you-
peaceful, restful sleep with no dreams.
Okay.
She didn't like you hitting on her.
Wait, what?
That's like rolling a 99 out of 100.
Okay, yeah.
Typically, when it comes to percentage dice, you're looking for lower the better.
Low numbers.
Yeah. Like paladins not paladins, clerics actually have an ability later on where they can ask for aid from their god, and they roll a percentage die, and they have to get, I think it's below 10%.
Something
I
like
thought
that.
it was
Yeah.
below their level.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah,
it's below
it-
your level.
Yeah, it depends on the level that they actually are, but
'Cause
the
if
higher
they
the
get
level,
it-
the easier it is to
See,
oh my god.
I'm not used to rooting for low numbers.
Right.
That's just
I know.
like
It's like they change everything around on you for some reason when it comes to percentage die.
do they
That's why
just
I'm
not
very-
want good grades on tests? I mean,
No.
So, you do have a restful sleep, and Claire sleeps well through the night, and the next morning, and like I said, I'm gonna pull it back into a bit narratively. And Rhea, I'm assuming you would be checking on your sister at times.
Yeah, absolutely.
You would see that she is looking much better, even if she is not able to get up and walk. It's a weird dichotomy in the sense that she looks better, she feels better, definitely, but she's still incredibly weak.
Gotcha.
And I think that we can cover the next few days, like I said, a bit more narratively. What would you guys like to do to prepare for the impending siege? You can see your castle. Around your castle, I'm going to say, and I told you guys this before the session, but I'm going to treat the terrain as fairly flat. I know you're in mountains, but I don't have a better map for you at the moment. I might make one if we get to next week. But for the moment, consider give me a second. Let me pull up this picture for you guys.
I love the idea of us arming everyone with baboom shovels to dig a moat.
Yes.
You still have very tall walls. The bridge is in the courtyard. The courtyard is where the bridge is. So you guys see how far down the castle goes? That's much of the lower levels. And for now, imagine that these mountains are here, but they're further back from the castle, so there's a lot more open ground. There's probably about 300 feet or so of open ground around the castle. And I'm going to share this with you guys, my brilliantly, expertly drawn map. It is taking time to load.
It has to load the dragon.
It has to load the high-end graphics and exquisite detail.
From MS Paint.
I have no idea why it's taking so long. I guess it's a really big map. It's not supposed to be, though.
I know it is background detail for you though, Squee, but after that, Freya would prepare Dispel Magic every day and probably routinely cast it on her.
Okay, no, that's very useful.
On Claire.
It will alleviate her. It's like taking like you hit the nail on the head. It's like taking medicine that helps block the symptoms and comfort the patient, but it's not actually healing her.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
As you can see, this is my brilliant map. The square is your castle, and the green area around it is the land around it.
It's beautiful, Squee.
It's incredibly well drawn. I
still don't have a map.
Breathtaking.
am an absolute artist in every way.
Whoa.
This is wondrous. You know what? This could go to the Guggenheim Museum.
It could. It should.
It's a lovely gray square with a loading sign.
I think it really captures what it is to be a millennial.
Oh,
I'm so glad literally everyone has this image but me.
Okay, Amelia.
I had to
Doesn't
like
get any better when it loads.
It's basically a block of concrete in a grass field. That's the
Don't
map.
tell her. Why
No,
would you tell her?
I can see it on YouTube, Squee.
Yeah.
So
No, you're not missing out on too much. Don't
I
worry.
might be able to improve this with time, but for now, imagine the castle's a square.
It's fine, really.
In all honesty, it's fine, Squee. It does not need to be perfect. This is just to represent tactically. There's a lot of things coming towards us, and what do we do?
So the idea, you guys know this well enough that you are going to have the ability to reach out and hurt them as they try to approach the castle. So the idea of this map is a more pulled out view in case you want to strategize or plan or prepare for what you could call the first phase of the assault, which is trying to stop them before they even get to your walls. Then, if and when it proceeds to another phase, we can then pop over to the actual castle map. And see, here's the genius bit. Here's the part where it really, it's really where I earn my money. The maps coincide. If, say, someone attacks the right side of the square on the map, they will attack the right side of the castle.
Genius.
Yep.
Mind blown.
Yep. I amaze myself.
You may need to find a how do I phrase this? How do we scale these arrows? Because I don't think that's actually 60 feet away.
Each square is actually 25 feet. So whatever you see on your thing, times it by 5.
Times it by 5. So That's very simple. Thank you.
Yes. So the castle is about 150 feet across, and the terrain around it, what I have is about 65 times 3. So
Okay. So I have marked fireball range and good range for bows. Past that, I don't know what most of us are gonna do. Most of us are just gonna shoot arrows and miss.
Don't call me out like that.
You have no idea, Joe.
Oh,
So
have I
many
missed a
arrows were
lot of
fired to
distant
no
moves?
avail.
Oh, I am sorry.
Hey, it was more her sister too. Her sister, she doesn't do ranged well.
You know, it's okay if we get enough people firing arrows. It won't even be a roll to hit. It'll be more like a DC to move out of the way.
So, here's what I'm going to do. Because this is a perfect place to stop and give you guys some time. Use this map and the other map as you will to prepare.
What's the name of this map?
This map is called Castle.
Okay.
Very I felt that the simple name defined the simple art, and yet added so much meaning.
It really adds to it.
Thank you.
So use the maps to plan anything that you might. You have a list of items that can be purchased. Like I said, most of the mundane items you can have as much as you might need, as long as they're not ludicrous amounts. If you're thinking ludicrous amounts of something like, we're going to stop the goblins with 100,000 candles, I might be like, I don't think they have that many. Otherwise, just let me know. And take this time to prepare some defenses and just plan out how you want to defend your castle. You don't really have the best understanding of what's coming at you. You know they're goblins. You know they have heightened weapons. By the way, Freya, someone would have let you know by now. The goblins knocked over a shipment of high-quality weapons and materia, so many of the goblins have masterwork weapons with materia.
Oh, that's not disconcerting whatsoever.
And that they use, I think Aras mentioned that too, they use rudimentary tactics and strategy, which is also not very goblin-like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that there's 4 champions of Gorum leading the army, so...
Oh yeah, that.
Small detail. Just a
I
small
mean-
one.
Small.
I'm sure others would have filled you in on those details.
But it's okay. We have a butterfly.
And the shovel, or they build 4 deeper holes.
You know,
Back off
with
my
how-
butterfly.
With how enthusiastic Kearney is to dig holes, she probably could dig the entire moat herself. We'll fill it with tar, we'll light it on fire when they approach.
Alchemist fire in that? Yeah, we got this covered.
Mm-hmm.
Need doubles.
So, my thoughts are, you guys go ahead and plan. You spend the next 2 days, because you have 2 days left, 2 days planning. We'll pick up next session with any last-minute preparation you think you may need, and we'll start the defense of the castle. How's that sound?
Mm-hmm.
Woo.
You guys,
Sounds good.
you guys get to live one more
Yay.
week. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week. Ta-ta, everyone.
Bye.
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 Oh.